on average, a bowl of cereal with milk runs about 40 grams of sugar. 40 grams. And we should not be consuming over 30 grams in a day. And that is me being very, very generous with that number. That is 30 grams in a day. That is a high number. Hey there, welcome to Becoming Natural. This is your host, Victoria Ray. I am a certified transformational nutrition coach and expert in the areas of mental wellness and nutrition. And this podcast is to provide you with the tools and knowledge that you need so that you can live a healthy and natural life in a world where everything's kind of, maybe this is healthy, maybe this isn't healthy. Oh, I heard that this was healthy yesterday, but, today, they said it wasn't. So a lot of that stuff is confusing, and I'm here to kind of decrypt some of that so that you're actually getting information that's relevant and true, or hopefully true based upon the research that I am doing. So I hope that you guys are all having an absolutely amazing day. It is morning for me here, but if it's afternoon or the evening or whatever, I just hope you guys are having a really good day, because you deserve that, like you guys work really hard. You put in the time for your dreams and your goals, and you just deserve to have an amazing day. And if you're having a crappy day, I feel for you. I really do. Like sometimes I have really crappy days. So let's just go ahead and take a moment to appreciate one thing in our lives right now. What is one thing that you're grateful for? Even if you're not having a crappy day, if you're having a great day, like awesome, but I still want you to think about that one thing just today that you're grateful for. What is that one thing that happened? Maybe you woke up, because you did, so you could be grateful for that. I'm honestly just really grateful for this amazing weather here that I'm getting to experience. It's beautiful. The sun's out. It's cool. There's a light breeze. I'm sitting here with my patio door open, and I'm just listening to all these cute little birds. It is the best. I love birds. Oh my God, you guys know that. I rambled way too much about that last time. So I'm not going to make this about how fucking cute little birds are with their fat little bellies and their, oh my God, I love them. Okay. Yeah, you guys know that. So cute. Do they eat breakfast? I wonder. You hear that saying, early bird gets the worm, but is that what birds are doing? Are they going out early and getting worms? I feel like they might. I feel like every time I've been outside, like early in the morning, if there's like water or something, there's always birds, like, out on a field, and they're out there doing something. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never really wondered before about birds' eating habits and whether they eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, how many times they eat throughout the day. I don't know. I'm definitely going to have to look into that now, because now I'm curious about the eating habits of birds. And here's the big question of the day. So is breakfast really the most important meal of the day? Your mom would probably say yes. Your grandma would probably say yes. She'd probably be like, oh, you need to come in here and eat breakfast? What do you mean you're not eating breakfast? Don't you know you're going to waste away into nothing? That's how grandmas are, right? So I don't know so much about this anymore because I don't watch TV. I have Netflix. I'm not like living under a rock or something. But like growing up in the 90s, watching TV, whether it was cable or just local channels, there were always these commercials for cereals, and like Go-Gurt, like those were always crazy. I feel like they were just like on another level for no reason. Like some of these commercials were absolutely wild. If you go and look up like 90s Go-Gurt or breakfast cereal commercials, they're awesome. They're so awesome. I wish that commercials were still like that. But no, we're stuck with these stupid pharmaceutical commercials of oh, take this drug, but you were going to have 5,000 different side effects, including death. But yeah, no, I feel like we're being deprived from these commercials that we had when we were children. They were way cool. Like toaster strudels and stuff like that. You know, foods that were absolutely terrible for children. But man, I wanted them so bad. Like, I remember specifically this one. It was for Cookie Crisp. And I think that guy was a wolf. I don't know. Maybe he was just like this like mangy psychotic dog. But he was trying to get the Cookie Crisp and like, he would howl. He'd be like, woo. And I remember he would like, they were playing like a baseball game or something. And he would hit the baseball. I don't know. Maybe I should like Google that and see if it's on YouTube or something. Try and watch it again, see how much of it I actually remember correctly. I don't know if he was like trying to get the Cookie Crisp from the kids or if he was the one giving it to the kids. I don't know. I'm a little foggy on that. It's kind of weird now to think about it. You know, maybe he was like weird. I just remember him being like crazy. Maybe he was like that because he ate the chocolate and the cookies. So that's why he was all like kind of psycho or something. I don't know. Another one that I thought was really strange was the Trix rabbit. Like I'm pretty sure they still have these commercials. They'll be like tricks are for kids. You know, and they don't share because like these kids are stingy assholes. The rabbit's like, he's just trying to get some. He's just like, I just want some cereal. And these kids are like, no, fuck you, rabbit. Like, you can't have any. That's kind of mean. I mean, I guess you shouldn't feed your rabbit cereal, but I mean, not those kids shouldn't be eating it either. It's got like dyes and other crap in it. But does anyone remember when they changed the shape of the Trix cereal? Because I specifically remember it being shaped like fruits. Like they had like the watermelon, and then there was like the grapes, like a grape cluster. Maybe there was like a lemon or something. And then one day they were just like little puff balls, like colored balls of cereal. They weren't fruit anymore. I've always wondered why they did that. My theory was that somebody like sued them and they were like, oh, you can't shape your cereal like fruit because my child thinks it's fruit and my child's stupidness is your fault, not mine. So that was my theory. I don't know. That might be completely wrong. I mean, I guess I could Google it, but to be honest, I don't really care that much. But if you know and you want to tell me, then I'll care. Please tell me if you know. Now I really want to know. You know what? I'm not going to Google it now. I'm determined to wait for one of you to tell me about why Trix cereal changed shapes. So just know I'm going to be sitting here waiting. So I need someone to figure this out and tell me. Okay, so how important is breakfast, actually? Did we as humans always eat first thing in the morning, or is this something we started doing recently? So here's something I think is really interesting. Breakfast actually didn't become popular until the Victorian era, when people started working in the factories, you know, when they started building all that stuff over in England, and people were like factory workers. They had, you know, children, and it was all crazy. But they'd wake up and they'd go work these long, like crazy shifts in these really shitty conditions. And, you know, they wouldn't have time to eat. So they would just eat like first thing in the morning. Then they go off and like work in the factory all day. Man, what a terrible time to be alive. Could you imagine just like waking up in the morning and be like, oh, I gotta scarf my breakfast down so I can work a 27-hour shift at the factory and lose my arm or die and have no workers' comp or time off and work 7 days a week. And oh my God. Like if I ever feel shitty about being alive right now, I just think about how I could be like an 8-year-old child slaving away in some London factory. And then I immediately feel better because I'm not a child laborer working in a London factory back in the Victorian era. Yeah, that'd be, ooh, man, poor child laborers. Yeah, but they ate their breakfast. I mean, sometimes, maybe if they weren't like super poor, a lot of them probably didn't eat. They probably didn't have any money. But before that, oh my God, this just like took a really dark turn. I did not mean for this to go this way. Yeah, but before that, people didn't really eat breakfast. They, they grew their own food. They didn't have refrigerators or anything like that. No caveman woke up in the morning and was like, yeah, man, let me go grab the breakfast cereal and pour me a big bowl before I go out and fight this pack of hyenas or, whatever the fuck cavemen did. I don't know. But yeah, our ancestors had to go find their food. They didn't wake up and grab the Go-Gurt out of the fridge and slurp it up and then hop on their skateboard down to hunt a mammoth. They had to actually go out and, forage for berries and roots and eggs and kill their meal. It wasn't readily available for them. So it wasn't like they were eating first thing in the morning, right when they woke up. They had to go and actually do things. So they were probably eating more around noon, maybe a little later in the afternoon, possibly, depending on what time they woke up and if they found food. So, and honestly, this really wasn't that long ago. In the grand scheme of evolution, humans have not changed that much in the past few thousand years. But we have drastically changed our environment, drastically. We're not outside anymore. We're inside all day, windowless offices, staring at artificial light and eating fried potatoes, fried in carcinogenic oil out of a bag. We evolved in nature. We were living in it, finding our own food, giving back to the earth, taking from it, giving back to it, giving our energy to it. And now we're so disconnected from it all. I don't know how many of you have ever actually grown fruits and vegetables or raised chickens or other birds like that for eggs or meat. I hope that most of you have had the experience of, at least growing some plants. If not, it's totally okay, but it's such an amazing experience to grow something from this little baby seedling and then harvest it and eat it. The energy in it is just so different. You're just connected with it in a different way. It's amazing. I miss my garden. I don't have a garden right now and I miss it. I would go out there in the mornings and I would just pick the weeds and tend to my plants and water them and talk to them maybe a little bit, depending. Maybe I'm a crazy person. It's okay. I'm okay with it. I do miss that. And you can go to Walmart and get little pepper plants, or you get a little herb plant like rosemary or a mint plant or something. You can grow it inside and put it in the windowsill, take care of it. That makes you feel good. And then, you can use it and cook with it. Things that I like to do. Those are one of them. Anyways, but yeah, so when breakfast became popular, people would eat leftover eggs, they would eat leftover meats, porridge, things that were probably left over from their dinner the night before. Things that Victorian era people ate. And then came along the invention of breakfast cereal. And now, this is not the cereal that we all know and love, but this was created in the late 1800s by a religious conservative named James Jackson. Now, the cereal he created was like a hard, terrible, flavorless brick. And this guy actually ran a sanitarium, basically an insane asylum. And he would feed this to people. So he hated dancing. The weird thing about this guy, he hated dancing. He thought it was evil. He was like, people shouldn't dance. Here, eat my brick of nastiness and don't dance. So strange. But yeah, it was terrible. It was supposed to be terrible. You weren't supposed to enjoy your food. You terrible gluttonous human. How dare you try and enjoy your food? And then eventually comes into the picture Dr. Kellogg. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this story before. If not, let me enlighten you about Dr. Kellogg. His idea, building on top of, this hard cereal breakfast brick thing, was that he could use this as an anti-masturbation tool. How? I'm not really sure, but apparently bland, terrible foods make you not want to masturbate. I'm not, how this man came to this conclusion is beyond me. I don't know if it worked. I'd like to go back in time and ask somebody and be like, yeah, did you hate your life so much eating this terrible food that you just didn't want to masturbate anymore because you hated everything that much? Interesting. It would be interesting to know. Yeah, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how it came to this. But anyways, his younger brother, whose name was Will, is actually who we have to thank for modern sugary cereals. Apparently, Dr. Kellogg was a complete asshole to his little brother. And so his little brother stole his invention and added sugar to it and other things and made basically Kellogg's cereal that we know today. So it wasn't the original inventor, Dr. Kellogg, it was his little brother. So that's how we have cereal. I guess he was like, fuck you. You're making this shitty cereal and you hate people. And so I'm going to make it better just to spite you. And now it's this giant industry of sugar cereal. Interesting. So let's talk about what happens to our bodies when we eat food. Not just cereal, but food in general. It is the most important thing to your body to process that food. It literally puts everything else on hold. It loves food as much as you do. I'm assuming you love food. I love food, so I'm just assuming that everybody loves food as much as I do. But your body definitely loves food. So much so that if you have cancer cells that need killing or muscles that need repairing or anything like that, it's actually going to go and take that food first and break it down and make sure it's completely broken down to the components it needs to be before continuing on with anything else. When we're constantly eating, we're not giving our body the time it needs to prioritize these other repairs because we're giving it so much food to break down all the time. So it's not prioritizing inflammation, repairing our blood vessels, things like that, because it's like, oh, dude, you took food in. I got to go right now and I got to take care of this situation before I do anything else. So when we take a step back and look at the average American breakfast that consists of sugary cereals, sugary yogurts, sugar here, there, you name it, orange juice, bagels, all of it's just really a lot of sugar. Pancakes, waffles, syrup, so much sugar. On average, a bowl of cereal with milk runs about 40 grams of sugar. 40 grams. And we should not be consuming over 30 grams in a day. And that is me being very, very generous with that number. That is 30 grams in a day. That is a high number. But, we're starting out with one bowl of 40 grams. You guys, if you compound all the sugar that you're eating in a day, it's probably more than 30 grams. Because if you're starting out with a bowl of cereal that's 40 grams, okay, then you go to Starbucks. Maybe you don't go to Starbucks. I don't know. Maybe you have a orange juice or a fruit juice or let's say a Coke or something. So then you're adding, let's say another 40 grams of sugar. Okay, so that's 80 grams and it's not even 10 a.m. And we wonder why we can't burn fat. We're like, oh my God, why can't I burn this fat? Well, dude, you just overloaded your body with sugar first thing in the morning. And our body really, really likes sugar. Your brain loves sugar. And your body really cares about you. It does. So it wants to make sure that you've got plenty of fat stored for the winter or whenever food is scarce. And so they're going to burn that sugar first. It's quick. It's easily accessible fuel source. So by shoveling these pounds of sugar into our body, you're not going to go into burning your fat stores because it literally doesn't have to. Your body does not have to touch your fat at all. And what is it going to do with that sugar that it hasn't burned, it's just going to add it to that fat. Not because your body hates you, but because it's doing what it's supposed to. You've taken in more than you're using, so your body is storing that for the future. Like I said, for when the apocalypse comes and there's no food and there's food shortages, you've got plenty of fat, you're going to be fine. You know? I mean, unless that's not how you want to live, which most of us don't. So your body's, it's functioning properly. We just need to stop overloading it with sugar, especially first thing in the morning. So we're not giving it a reason to burn any fat when we do this. We're literally, and it's like a dog that has a bad behavior, but we're not correcting it, we're just encouraging it. That's exactly what we're doing when we're just consuming a shit ton of sugar and constantly overloading our body with it. So something that's really cool is time-restricted eating. Or, dear Lord, please bear with me while I try and say the one word in the English language that I cannot pronounce for some reason. Regardless of how many times I practice it or say it, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with my mouth. Like, just doesn't want to say this word properly. Oh my God. I'm thinking about it. It's making me like, God damn it. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting. I don't know. I know how to say it. It just doesn't happen. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with my pronunciation skills for intermittent fasting. There we go. I think I said it correctly. Oh my God. It's just, like, my mouth just like refuses to pronounce it. I don't know. I'm going to say time-restricted eating from now on. So time-restricted eating is basically what humans have done since the beginning of time. And it's where we're taking this long break in between your first and last meal. And this allows your glucose levels in your bloodstream and your liver to lower. So once you've used all your glycogen stores, that's when our metabolism switches over to using fatty acids as a fuel source. So now we're in the burning fat stage, which is where we all want to be all the time, right? Like, we want to use fat. It's a good fuel source. You know, but this isn't just about burning fat. This type of fasting reduces inflammation, it improves insulin dysregulation, it improves our brain health, etc. And typically, your ideal fast would be about 12 to 16 hours, really depending on how you want to do it. And yes, you can overdo it. This is not about starving yourself. This is time-restricted eating or circadian fasting. So if you did a, let's say, 16-hour fast, you would have an 8-hour window to eat all of your food for the day. So that would kind of look like eating maybe your first meal at 10 a.m. and your last meal at 6 p.m. That doesn't sound too bad, right? Like, you could still go to brunch with your friends. You could still go out to dinner, you know. And you've really, like, you can shift it around for whatever you like. Personally, I don't normally eat until about 12, and then I stop eating around 7 p.m. Sometimes I stop eating a little sooner. Sometimes I eat later in the day. Sometimes I eat earlier in the day. It really just depends. For me, especially for women, it's a little different. You guys, you're a lot simpler when it comes to things like this because you guys don't have periods, and that's something that women do have to factor in, because when we're going through menstruation, our bodies are needing some different things. So we do have to kind of adjust our time-restricted eating on this. I know that I eat earlier in the day. I tend to eat a lot more. I don't typically eat later, but I do notice that I will eat a little earlier, probably around 10 a.m. And like I said, I consume quite a bit more food during that time. So ladies, make sure you're listening to your body. You don't want to starve yourself. I have had the terrible experience of doing, occasionally I will do a 24-hour fast just because I like doing it. I think it's really like good for me. I like the way I feel when I do that, maybe once every 2 weeks. But I have, like I said, had the terrible experience of doing that while I was on my period, and I basically passed out. And it was just not a good time. Nobody had a good time. Nobody that was around me had a good time because they were like, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with you? You idiot, why aren't you eating? And I'm like, oh, I'm 24-hour fasting. Okay, dumbass, why would you do that on your period? Like, but, you know, I went through that experience, so hopefully that doesn't happen to you. You can learn from my mistake. Make sure you're getting all the proper nutrients you need during that time. But yeah, I mean, just really listen to your body on when you want to start eating and then when you want to stop eating. But ideally, it's about an 8-hour window. And this also has a really amazing benefit for your sleep. When we're not eating all the time, we tend to sleep better. We're not going to bed with full tummies, trying to prioritize digestion instead of quality sleep. So we're going to get deeper sleep. And we're also going to tend to be more energized when we're not eating all the time because our bodies are able to use that clean fat fuel source instead of, short-term glycogen stores. Like when I do a 24-hour fast, when I first started doing it, and when I say fast, I drink water. I always drink water. Like, there are things that you can consume without breaking your fast, like water, tea, coffee with MCT oil in it. What I like to make in the mornings is I'll do water with like a little bit of apple cider vinegar and some lemon juice in it. I really like to do that. That won't break your fast. Now, if you were to like down a whole bottle of apple cider vinegar, it probably would. But I don't know who in their right mind would do that. If you do that, like, more power to you. You must have a stomach of steel because I would throw up. Absolutely throw up. But yeah, there are things you can do. Obviously, you don't want sugars. Sugars are going to break your fast. Normally, you can take vitamins. That's not going to break your fast. That shouldn't affect it at all. Unless you're like eating Flintstone vitamins, which I don't know if they make those anymore. But if you're an adult and you're eating Flintstone vitamins, like, I think we need to have a different conversation than if they're going to break your fast or not. So let's talk about what's best to eat when we finally do break our fast. So, we woke up, we drank our 1-2 glasses of water, we've had our coffee. Okay, we're starting to get hungry, like actually hungry, and we want to break our fast. So when we do this, we want to really avoid sugary breakfast items. That's not going to be the best thing for your body. First thing in the morning, for your first source of fuel for the day, your body's been using, your fat, and then now you're going to throw a bunch of sugar in there. That's not going to be good for your insulin levels. They're going to spike. You're going to feel like shit later. It's just this whole cycle of something that you just don't want to get into. So protein and healthy fats are really going to be your go-to here. Those are going to be the good things that you want to do. Just like eggs, steak, bacon, cheese, yogurt. Let's talk about yogurt real quick and low-fat items. Low fat, I want you guys, like, when you see low fat in the store, I want it to translate in your brain to added sugar. Because that's basically what it means. What they're doing is they're processing this food and they're removing the healthy fats in it, and now it tastes like shit. It's boring, it's terrible, and nobody wants to eat it, so they add sugar in, which makes it taste better. So low fat equals added sugar. I personally love whole milk Greek yogurt, unflavored. Of course, I don't do flavored yogurts, or skyr, and Icelandic yogurt. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. I like to add in like cocoa powder or honey. Sometimes I'll add fruits in, like blueberries or cacao nibs. Those are really good, and they're super, super nutrient dense. I like to make it fun. Like, have fun with your yogurt. Have fun with your breakfast. Make it, however you want it. It doesn't have to be boring. You can really add whatever flavors you want in there. But you do want to avoid pre-flavored yogurts, just because all they're doing is adding in dyes and sugars, and even the ones that look super fancy in the glass jar with the yogurt, and then they've got the fruit on the bottom. That's literally just like high fructose corn syrup with some fruit in it and maybe some dyes. Like, that's not good for you. We really want to try and get plain yogurts and then add in whatever fruit flavor granola that you want to add into it, and you can make it yours and delicious and personalize your breakfast. So all in all, low fat just equals gross sugar. Just eat the full fat item. Nature doesn't make bad fats, and fat does not make you fat. Fat does not make you fat. This is bad information from the 80s. So I want you to take it out of your brain right now. Just like grab it, pull it out, and throw it away. It was brain trash. It's going in the trash now. Fat does not make you fat. Fat is good for you. Obviously, the right kinds of fats. There are bad fats like vegetable oils, canola oil, seed oils. We want to avoid those. Those are absolutely terrible. The fats that nature makes, you are good to go. Absolutely golden. Buy the whole fat milk. Buy the whole fat yogurt. Buy real butter. Don't buy the country crock stuff in the tub. It's literally just like plastic. It's so disgusting. My typical breakfast or brunch or lunch or whatever, whenever I decide to eat throughout the day, I like to do eggs and with feta cheese, tomatoes, cilantro, usually like a spicy salsa. Sometimes I'll do an avocado with skyr mixed with like protein powder and cacao nibs. So I've got my healthy fats, I've got my protein. It's all super delicious and yummy, and it makes me happy. And I start out my day really good, or my eating part of the day really good. So in all, is breakfast the most important meal of the day? My answer is yes and no. Yes, it is very important what you're eating for your first meal of the day. And yes, it's important what time you're eating, what time you're breaking your fast. And no, it's not important when we think of the traditional idea of American breakfast. Total garbage. Like, hey, let me wake up first thing in the morning, run downstairs, shove a toaster strudel in the thing, and pour me a fat bowl of cereal. No. Bad. Shame on you for eating that. No, I'm just kidding. It's not what we want to do, though. That's not how we're gonna live healthy. We want to try and stick to a decent eating schedule, like I said, of about 8 hours. We want to get these healthy fats and these proteins in. Now, can we eat sugar? Yes. Yes, we can. Is it best to eat it first thing in the day? No, it's not. But if you do, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You know, you can always do better tomorrow. Sometimes I will like have a breakfast, like with my friends or something, and I'll get like pancakes or, you know, something. And the rest of the day I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? And I just have to remind myself, like, it's okay. I do really well, like 99% of the time. Every once in a while, it's going to be all right. So if you do, and you're adjusting and you're trying some new things and you're having a hard time with it, don't be hard on yourself. It is okay. You are trying. That's really all that matters, is the fact that you're trying. So decide when you want to eat. Now that I've given you this tasty bit of information, and just listen to your body. Don't try to do like a 3-day fast if you've never fasted before. Don't be dumb. Obviously, that's dumb. You're probably going to pass out. I don't want you to end up in the hospital. Like, be smart. Listen to your body. You can start out this time-restricted eating by just shifting your first meal time to the right 1 hour for a week, and then just build on that. You don't have to start doing anything like really drastic right now. Baby steps. That's what's going to get us to where we want to go. Baby steps and consistency. That's what, our health is all about. So I hope this little bit of information here will help you along on your wellness journey. Hope it fits into your life of becoming a little more natural. If you thought I forgot to do it, I didn't. I remembered. There it is. Okay, maybe I forgot to do it at the beginning, but it's okay. Still same podcast. I still remembered towards the end. Got it in there. And as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful people. Don't forget to check out my handmade all-natural personal care products that are now available on my website. And since you guys are super awesome, I want to give you 10% off your order. Not just your first order. You can use this as many times as you want because, like I said, you guys are awesome. And you're here and you're listening to my podcast. So yeah, this is my thing to give to you. So all you have to do is just go to victoriaraycoaching.com/shop and enter the discount code Becoming Natural. That is one word at checkout. Everything on there is made using only the highest quality ingredients and natural products. So no toxic shit. I'm not going to do that to you guys. I would never ask you to use something that I would not use myself. So until next time, my friends, go out there and have yourself a great freaking rest of your day.